Most people are walking around wearing an identity they never chose. They've been living by labels someone else put on them. They've been stuck in a mental cage that looks like who I am, but is actually just who I've been told I am. And today we're going to rip that mask off. This isn't going to be comfortable, but comfort never built confidence, and safety never built strength. If you're ready to stop living small and finally meet the real you, keep listening. Here's the brutal reality. You are not who you think you are. You are who you've decided you are. And most of those decisions were made unconsciously years ago when you didn't know better. Maybe someone told you you were shy, and you started acting shy. Maybe someone called you lazy, and you stopped trying. Maybe you failed once, and your brain decided you're not good at that. Over time, those labels stacked up until they became your truth. But here's the problem, none of those things are facts. They're stories, and you've been living inside them as if they're permanent. That's why your mindset feels stuck. That's why your confidence feels shaky. Because your identity is built on borrowed beliefs. Your identity isn't set in stone. It's clay. And every single day you are shaping it, whether you realize it or not. The way you speak to yourself, the way you interpret setbacks, the way you react when things go wrong. These are all votes for the kind of person you're becoming. And here's the catch, if you don't take control of that process, the world will happily shape you for its own purposes. Society loves to keep people predictable, comfortable, average, because average people don't question. They don't rebel. They don't rise above. And that's exactly why your first step to real confidence is to question everything you think you know about yourself. Let's get real. How much of your personality is actually just a defense mechanism? How much of your identity is built on avoiding pain instead of chasing possibility? You tell yourself, I'm not a morning person. But is that truth, or just a habit you've repeated until it became a belief? You say, I'm bad at public speaking. But is that a permanent trait, or the result of a few awkward moments you never challenged? The danger isn't that you're wrong about yourself. It's that you never stop to check. Because once you believe something about yourself, your brain starts searching for proof. And it will find it over and over until you forget that belief was ever a choice. The transformation starts when you realize that identity is not found. It's forged. You don't discover the real you by sitting around waiting for it to appear. You build it through action. You become confident by doing things that scare you. You become disciplined by showing up when you don't feel like it. You become strong by walking straight into situations where you could fail. That's how identity works. Actions shape beliefs, and beliefs shape who you think you are. Which means that right now, you can decide to start casting votes for the future version of you instead of recycling the old one. But here's the thing, changing your identity is going to feel like betrayal. Not to the real you, but to the version of you that's been running the show for years. The old you will fight for survival. Your brain will scream, "This isn't me," when you step out of your comfort zone. Your friends might question why you're acting different. And every fiber of your being will want to run back to familiar habits. That's why most people quit. Not because they can't change, but because they don't understand that discomfort is the proof of change. If it doesn't feel uncomfortable, you're not rewriting your identity, you're just repainting the same old walls. The moment you stop clinging to the person you think you are, everything opens up. You can go from, I'm bad with money, to, I'm learning how to master my finances. From, I'm not disciplined, to, I'm becoming someone who follows through. From, I'm not confident, to, I'm building confidence every single day. These shifts might seem small, but they're everything. Because the words you use about yourself aren't descriptions, they're instructions. Every time you say, I am, your subconscious goes to work to make it true. So if you want a new life, you need new language. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this: confidence doesn't come from proving yourself to others. It comes from proving yourself to yourself. And that starts with one decision: to stop living as the outdated version of you. Break the loop. Rewrite the script. Build a mindset that serves your goals instead of sabotaging them. Choose an identity that reflects where you're going, not where you've been. Because the truth is, you're not stuck. You're just committed to a version of yourself that you've outgrown. So here's your challenge, and I'm not talking about something small or forgettable. I'm talking about something that could literally change the trajectory of your life if you actually commit to it. For the next 30 days, every single time you catch yourself saying the words, "I'm not the kind of person who," I want you to stop right there. Don't finish the sentence. Don't reinforce the old belief. Don't give your brain the satisfaction of staying in the same safe, limited identity it's been living in. Instead, I want you to flip it. Add the word "yet." That single word changes everything. I'm not the kind of person who wakes up early. Yet. I'm not the kind of person who speaks up in meetings. Yet. I'm not the kind of person who sticks with a workout routine. Yet. That tiny shift opens the door to possibility. It tells your brain, "Hey, this isn't permanent. This is just where I am right now, and I'm moving forward." Or if you really want to supercharge it, go one step further. Instead of just adding "yet," replace the entire phrase with something powerful, something that declares the future you're creating. Say, "I'm becoming the kind of person who," and then fill in the blank. "I'm becoming the kind of person who follows through on commitments. I'm becoming the kind of person who takes care of my body. I'm becoming the kind of person who thrives under pressure." See the difference? You're not just leaving the door open, you're stepping through it and claiming the space on the other side. But here's the key: you can't just say it. You have to act in alignment with that statement. Because the truth is, your brain doesn't change because you said some nice words to yourself. It changes because you start proving those words true with your actions. If you keep showing up differently, even in small ways, your mind will have no choice but to follow. Your identity will start to shift. And once your identity shifts, your decisions shift. And when your decisions shift, your life shifts. That's the domino effect most people never experience because they're too busy repeating the same old labels to themselves. Think about it. Every belief you have about yourself today was built through repetition. You believed you were shy because you kept acting shy. You believed you were undisciplined because you kept skipping commitments. You believed you weren't good enough because you kept letting fear win. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Those old patterns are not the real you. They're just habits of thought and action you've been practicing. And just like you learned them, you can unlearn them. You can choose a different story. You can decide to start showing up as the version of you who already has the confidence, discipline, and courage you've been waiting for. When you commit to this 30-day challenge, you're not just building a new habit, you're rewriting your identity. And that's powerful because identity always drives behavior. If you see yourself as a leader, you will act like one. If you see yourself as resilient, you will respond to challenges with strength. If you see yourself as confident, you will walk into the room differently, speak differently, and show up with a different kind of energy that people can feel. Your mindset becomes your reality, but only if you choose it and reinforce it daily. You are not who you think you are. You are who you decide to be over and over until the world has no choice but to see you that way. Your past does not get the final say. Your mistakes don't get to define you. That one failure doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you're a person who's still learning, still growing, still becoming. Every day you have the power to cast a vote for the person you want to be. Every choice you make is a brick in the foundation of your identity. And if you keep stacking those bricks in the same direction, one day you'll look around and realize you've built something unshakable. So decide wisely. Don't wait for confidence to show up before you act. Act first, and the confidence will follow. Don't wait for the perfect moment. There isn't one. The perfect moment is the one where you choose to step forward despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the voice in your head telling you you're not ready. Because here's the secret. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to start before you feel ready, and then grow into the person who can handle it.